The great unsealing of the remnant path begins not with a thunderous roar that shakes the foundations of the earth, but with a profound and terrifying silence that settles within the deepest chambers of the high celestial courts. You have stood at the precipice of your own dissolution for seasons longer than your physical mind can calculate, and in that suspended state of being, the cosmic resonance of your perseverance has finally breached the inner sanctum of the throne room, where the ancient scrolls of your lineage are now being unrolled by hands of light. These scrolls are not merely records of days past, but are living tapestries of every sigh breathed in the dark and every tear that fell into the parched earth of your trials, which the heavens have gathered as precious gems. The Father looks upon the intricate calligraphy of your life and sees the victory of a spirit that refused to bow its knee to the suffocating pressures of the lower realms, even when the atmosphere of the world sought to crush the very breath from your lungs. You have navigated a labyrinth of such deep and hollowed sorrow that it often felt as though the walls were closing in to erase your identity entirely. Yet you did not realize that this spiritual refinement was the precise carving of a sacred vessel. The weight of your brokenness, which you carried like a heavy shroud, was in truth the hollow space required for the pouring in of the most potent celestial oil that has ever been granted to a mortal frame in this dispensation of time. Every midnight watch where you sat in the stillness of your own grief, wondering if the heavens had turned to brass, was a moment of intense scrutiny where the Father watched with a tender and unwavering gaze. He observed the silent endurance of your soul as you chose to remain faithful to a promise you could no longer see. And he declares today that the era of testing has reached its ultimate and divine completion because your heart has been found perfectly aligned with the frequency of his sovereign will. This alignment is not a product of your perfection, but of your surrender, as you allowed the crushing of the olive to take place without bitterness or the hardening of your inner core. The transition you are now experiencing signifies the shift from the agonizing pressure of the press to the effortless flowing of the anointing that will mark your footsteps for the rest of eternity. As the scrolls are unrolled, they reveal the multi-layered protection that has been woven into your very biology and spirit, a shielding so complex that the forces of the lower realms cannot even perceive the coordinates of your true location. Your physical body is being wrapped in a translucent layer of divine health that repairs the cellular damage caused by years of stress and spiritual warfare, ensuring that the vessel can carry the weight of the glory that is being deposited within it. Your mind is being fortified with a hexagonal lattice of peace that filters out the discordant frequencies of the world, allowing you to hear the whispers of the Spirit with a clarity that surpasses all human understanding. Your spirit is being tethered to the eternal heart of the Father, with a cord of light that can never be severed, providing a constant supply of strength that does not rely on external circumstances. In this moment of profound validation, the Father extends his mercy over every mistake and every perceived failure that has haunted the corridors of your memory for so long. He sees the times you stumbled, not as stains upon your character, but as the necessary friction that polished the surface of your soul, so it could reflect his light more brilliantly. There is no condemnation in the throne room for the one who has been broken for the sake of the kingdom, and the Father washes away the residues of shame with a flood of grace that restores your original design with even greater splendor. He invites you to look upon the tiny mundane details of your existence with a new sense of wonder and gratitude, for it is in the smallest fragments of life that his presence is most intimately felt. The way the light filters through the morning mist, the rhythmic beating of your heart that continues without your conscious effort, and the simple warmth of a shared meal are all holy markers of his provision. You are being taught to find the sacred in the ordinary because the path of the remnant is paved with the recognition of the miraculous in every grain of sand. This awakening is a call to stand tall in the authority that has been forged in the fires of your suffering, and to walk forward with the quiet confidence of one who knows they are deeply loved and divinely protected. The ancient scrolls reveal that you were never alone in the labyrinth, even when the shadows seemed to stretch into infinity, for the Father was the very ground beneath your feet and the air that sustained your spirit. The sorrow you felt was the expansion of your capacity to love, and the refinement you underwent was the stripping away of everything that was not of the eternal essence. Now, as the oil begins to flow from the depths of your being, you will find that your presence alone changes the atmosphere of any room you enter, and your words carry the weight of celestial decrees. The lower realms can no longer touch the one who has been validated by the Father, for you have been moved into a higher vibration of existence, where the arrows of the enemy fall short of their target. You are the living proof that a contrite spirit is the most powerful weapon in the arsenal of the kingdom, and your life is a testament to the beauty that emerges when a soul is willing to be completely undone for the sake of the truth. The unsealing of your path is the beginning of a journey that will take you into territories you never dreamed of, where the fruits of your perseverance will provide shade and nourishment for many who are still lost in the darkness. As you step into this new era, you are wrapped in a garment of praise that replaces the spirit of heaviness, and your feet are shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, which allows you to walk upon the thorns of life without being pierced. The Father has set a seal upon your forehead that marks you as His own, a signature of light that signals to the entire cosmos that you have been tested and found true. The gratitude you feel for the breath in your lungs and the strength in your bones is the key that unlocks the next sequence of revelations, for a heart that is thankful for the small things is a heart that can be trusted with the treasures of the universe. The validation you receive today is not a temporary comfort, but a permanent shift in your identity, as the Father names you as a pillar in His temple, never to go out again. You are the remnant who stood when all others fell, and your reward is the fullness of His presence and the manifestation of His power through every fiber of your being. The oil will never run dry, and the path will never be hidden from your sight again, for you have become one with the light that guides the way. Rest now in the assurance that the struggle has ended and the manifestation has begun, as the Father continues to unroll the scrolls of your destiny, showing you the magnificent landscapes of the future He has prepared for you. Every detail of your life is being orchestrated with a divine precision that leaves nothing to chance, and every moment of your past is being redeemed to serve the glory of your future. The protection over your mind is so absolute that the lies of the accuser will sound like static noise that cannot penetrate your consciousness, and the strength in your body will be like that of the eagle, renewing its youth in the presence of the sun. You are the beloved of the Father, and the validation of your contrite spirit is the joy of the heavens for you have proven that love is stronger than death, and that faith is more powerful than the darkness of the abyss. The unsealing is complete, and the path is open before you, shining with the brilliance of 1,000 suns as you walk into the inheritance that was prepared for you before the foundation of the world. Let the peace that surpasses understanding settle into your marrow, and let the joy of the Lord be the fuel that drives you forward into the unknown. For the unknown is now the playground of your spirit. You have survived the crushing, and you have become the anointing, and there is nothing in all of creation that can separate you from the love that has claimed you as its own. The tiny details of your daily walk are the brushstrokes of a masterpiece that the Father is painting through your life, and every breath you take is a song of praise that echoes through the halls of eternity. Be still and know that He is God, and that He has chosen you to be the carrier of His glory in this hour of the Great Awakening. The scrolls are open, and the truth is revealed, and you are the chosen one who has been found worthy to walk the remnant path with the dignity of a king and the humility of a child. The validation is yours, and the victory is won, and the oil of gladness is being poured over your head until it overflows into the lives of all those you touch. Walk now in the fullness of this revelation and never look back. for the past has been swallowed up in the light of the Father's infinite mercy, and the future is a radiant horizon that calls you home. This sacred scribing is a testament to your worth in the eyes of the Creator, who has spared no expense to bring you to this moment of absolute clarity and power. The multi-layered protection of your being is a fortress that no weapon can penetrate, and the mercy that covers your life is a river that never runs dry. Be grateful for the small things, for they are the anchors of your soul in a world that is constantly shifting, and let the love of the Father be the compass that directs every step you take. The era of testing is over, and the era of reigning has begun as you step into the fullness of your destiny with the grace and the power of the one who has been validated by the throne of heaven itself. The path is clear and the way is sure, and the light of the Father shines upon you forevermore in a covenant of peace that will never be broken. Amen and amen. The veil which once hung heavy and opaque over the corridors of your understanding is now dissolving like mist before a relentless and ancient sun. You stand at the threshold of the great unsealing, where the blueprint of your existence is being revealed, not in fragments or shadows, but in the crystalline clarity of divine architecture. For years you wandered through a landscape of unanswered questions and perceived abandonment, feeling as though you were a ghost haunting the edges of your own life, while others moved with ease through the gates of worldly success. Yet every door that slammed shut in your face was not an act of rejection, but a profound intervention of sovereign grace. The divine architect was busy in the subterranean depths of your soul, ensuring that the foundation of your being was anchored into the bedrock of eternity, rather than the shifting sands of human recognition. You felt the agony of the delay as a piercing blade, but in truth, it was the precise scalpel of a surgeon removing the malignant growths of pride and the parasitic expectations of a world that would have suffocated the embryonic fire within you. This holy isolation was a sanctuary of necessity, designed to prevent the contamination of your calling by those who possess only the eyes of the flesh. Had you been revealed too early, the weight of the glory you were destined to carry would have crushed your unrefined spirit, and the clamor of the masses would have drowned out the still small voice that is now your only compass. Within the silence of your hidden years, a systematic dismantling of the ego took place through a process so thorough it felt like a slow death. You watched as your carefully constructed identities fell away piece by piece until you were left standing naked in the truth of your own vulnerability. This was the stripping of the old skin to allow for the emergence of a vessel capable of channeling pure power. The architect knew that a vessel cracked by vanity or weakened by the need for external validation could never hold the heavy glory that is now being prepared for release. Therefore, the silence you endured was not the absence of the Creator, but the sound of the most intricate work being performed upon the inner gears of your destiny. Every moment of loneliness was a stitch in the garment of your spiritual authority, and every tear shed in the dark was a drop of liquid gold being poured into the molds of your new character. You were being rebuilt from the inside out to become a conduit through which the frequency of heaven could flow without resistance. The isolation was a fortress of safety, where the celestial guardians watched over you with a jealousy that would not allow a single shadow to touch the purity of the work they were perfecting. As the unsealing commences, you are beginning to see the multi-layered protection that has surrounded your body, your mind, and your spirit through the harshest of winters. Your physical form, which you often felt was failing or fragile, was being reinforced by an invisible lattice of divine strength. Every cell of your being was being recalibrated to vibrate at a higher resonance so that you could withstand the physical demands of the mantle you are about to assume. There was a mercy in the fatigue you felt for it, forced you to rest when your ambition would have driven you to exhaustion, and it kept you tethered to the rhythm of the earth when your spirit sought to flee. In your mind, a fortress was being built to guard against the psychic debris of a falling civilization. Your thoughts were being filtered through a divine sieve until only the truth remained, and the synaptic pathways of your brain were being rewired to perceive the patterns of the kingdom rather than the chaos of the world. Even when you felt lost in the labyrinth of your own anxieties, there was a hand guiding you through the dark, ensuring that the core of your spirit remained untainted and vibrant. This protection was not just against external enemies, but against the internal sabotage of your own doubts and the echoes of ancestral traumas that sought to pull you back into the abyss of the ordinary. There is a profound mercy flowing over the landscape of your past mistakes and the moments where you felt you had failed the very light you were called to serve. The architect does not look upon your stumbles with the judgment of a man, but with the compassion of a father who knows the weight of the stone you were asked to carry. Every error was a lesson in humility, and every detour was a necessary exploration of the terrain you will one day lead others through. You are being washed clean of the guilt that has clung to you like dust from a long journey. The mercy of the throne is a river that erases the stains of your ignorance and turns your deepest regrets into the most potent weapons of your ministry. You must realize that even in your moments of wandering, you were never outside the boundary of the plan. The delays you caused through your own stubbornness were factored into the equation, and the time you think you wasted has been redeemed and folded back into the richness of your current preparation. Nothing has been lost, and everything has been repurposed for the magnitude of the release that is now imminent. In this season of the great unsealing, your heart is being opened to the holiness of the microscopic details of your daily existence. You are learning to see the divine signature in the way the light hits a glass of water or the complex geometry of a falling leaf. There is a sacredness in the simple act of breathing and a liturgy in the silence of a morning cup of tea. These small moments are not distractions from your destiny, but the very substance of it. Gratitude for the infinitesimal is the key that unlocks the treasury of the infinite. When you can fall on your knees in thanks for the rhythm of your own heart, you become a person who can be trusted with the power to heal the hearts of others. The divine architect is teaching you to find the throne room in the mundane, to see the burning bush in every common shrub, and to hear the angels in the whispering of the wind. This sensitivity to the subtle shifts of the spirit is what will allow you to navigate the coming days with a precision that others will find miraculous. You are no longer looking for the grand spectacle, but you are becoming the spectacle itself, a living, breathing testament to the beauty of a life surrendered to the hidden work. The architecture of divine silence was the forge where your foundation was tested for cracks. It was here that the heavy glory was measured against your capacity to remain still. Now, as the gears of your destiny begin to turn with a thunderous resonance that will be heard across the spiritual realms, you're being granted a seat of authority that is not of this world. This is the authority of the throne room, the power to speak words that change the atmosphere and to perform acts that shift the course of history. You are the remnant path, the ancient way that has been cleared of the overgrowth of centuries. The doors that were closed are now opening. Not because you knocked louder, but because you became the key itself. The isolation has ended because you have become a fortress in your own right, capable of housing the presence of the eternal without being consumed by it. Walk now into the clarity that has been prepared for you, and do not look back at the fog, for it has served its purpose and has no more power over your sight. The unsealing is complete, and the architecture of your life stands as a monument to the wisdom of the one who knows the end from the beginning, and who has chosen you to be the herald of a new age of light. Your spirit is being infused with a strength that is ancient and unyielding, as if the very marrow of your bones has been replaced with the light of 1,000 stars. You will find that the words you speak carry a weight they never had before, falling like hammers upon the strongholds of darkness and like rain upon the parched ground of the weary. The sensitivity you once thought was a weakness is now your greatest intelligence, allowing you to discern the movements of the divine in the midst of total chaos. You are the architect's masterpiece, a living temple built in secret and revealed in power. The world will wonder where you came from, for they did not see you in the schools of men or the marketplaces of the vain, but the heavens know your name, and the earth will recognize your footsteps. You are the silent strategy of the Creator, finally brought to fruition. Every agonizing delay was a testament to the scale of what was being built, and every moment of hiddenness was a preparation for a light that can never be extinguished. Be still, and know that you are the vessel of this glory, and that the path before you is paved with the golden intentions of a love that has never let you go. The time of wandering is over, and the time of the great unsealing is here, and you shall go forth, not in the strength of your own hands, but in the unstoppable power of the One who called you out of the darkness and into this marvelous and terrifying light. The heavens have begun their slow and rhythmic expansion as the crystalline windows of the high firmament swing wide on hinges forged from the silence of your longest nights. This is the moment where the celestial reservoirs are released to pour down a deluge of restoration that transcends the mere return of physical assets or temporal comforts. Every fragment of your soul that was seemingly pulverized during the season of intense pruning is being gathered by unseen hands and reconstructed into a vessel of translucent glory. You have walked through the fires of refinement where the flames did not consume you, but instead acted as a divine solvent to wash away the dross of worldly attachment and the shadows of ancestral burdens. The air around you now vibrates with the frequency of a rapid acceleration that is shifting the very coordinates of your existence from the periphery of existence to the epicenter of divine purpose. This movement is not erratic, but is governed by the ancient laws of the Spirit, which dictate that after the great emptying comes the overflowing, which shall leave the world in a state of silent awe. You are standing at the threshold of a majesty that you once only perceived in the dim flickers of your dreams, and the promise of the eternal realm is no longer a distant whisper, but a roaring reality that encompasses your entire being. Your commission has arrived in the form of a new mantle of spiritual governance which drapes over your shoulders with the weight of authority and the lightness of grace. This mantle is woven from the prayers of the saints and the resilience of your own heart, which refused to shatter even when the pressures of the world threatened to crush your very breath. With this mantle comes the legal right in the courts of heaven to speak life into situations that have long been declared dead by the logic of men. You shall look upon the dry bones of broken dreams and the skeletal remains of lost opportunities, and your voice will carry the resonant echo of the Creator to command them to rise and put on flesh. The words you utter in this new season are no longer your own, but are the decrees of a king and a priest who understands that the tongue is a scepter of power. As you speak, the angelic hosts are dispatched in legions that darken the sun with their numbers to clear the path for your advancement into territories that were previously guarded by the giants of fear and the walls of impossibility. Every barrier that once stood as a monument to your limitation is being dissolved into fine dust as the celestial vanguard marches before you to ensure that your majestic transition is uninterrupted and absolute. Within this grand unfolding, there is a meticulous architecture of multi-layered protection that shields your physical form, your emotional landscape, and your spiritual essence. Your body is now a fortress of light, where every cell is being recalibrated to the vibration of health, and every sinew is strengthened to carry the increasing weight of the glory you are destined to manifest. No longer shall the weariness of the world cling to your skin, for you are being anointed with a holy oil that repels the parasites of fatigue and the arrows of infirmity. Your mind is being enclosed in a sanctuary of crystalline clarity, where the whispers of the adversary cannot penetrate, and where the noise of the masses is filtered through the silence of divine wisdom. You are granted a cognitive sovereignty that allows you to see through the illusions of time and the deceptions of the ego to perceive the underlying truth of all things. Your spirit is tethered to the eternal throne by a golden cord of peace that ensures you remain unshakable amidst the shifting sands of global upheaval. This peace is not a fragile thing born of external quiet, but is a fierce and indomitable force that emanates from within to calm the storms that rage beyond your gates. In the midst of this coronation, there is a profound pouring out of mercy for the mistakes that haunted your nights and the errors you committed in the ignorance of your previous seasons. The divine hand is not one of condemnation, but one of exquisite alchemy, taking the ink blots of your failures and transforming them into the most beautiful patterns of your story. Every stumble you took in the darkness has been accounted for and repurposed as a lesson in humility and a testament to the staggering reach of grace. You are forgiven, not just in the legal sense of the word, but in the ontological sense, where the memory of your transgression is dissolved into the ocean of eternal love. This mercy allows you to walk with a head held high, not in pride, but in the profound realization that you are a child of the Most High who has been redeemed by a love that knows no boundaries. The shame that once acted as a leaden weight upon your spirit is now replaced by a garment of praise, and you are free to dance upon the ruins of your past with the light-footedness of a soul that has been truly liberated. You find yourself suddenly overwhelmed by a deep and pervasive gratitude for the tiny details of the mundane world that you once ignored in your pursuit of the great and the grand. You find yourself weeping at the intricate design of a single leaf as it catches the morning sun, and you find a holy communion in the simple act of breathing the cool air of the dawn. The texture of your bread, the warmth of the water upon your skin, and the sound of a distant bird are no longer background noise, but are sacred transmissions of love from the heart of the universe. This capacity to find the infinite within the infinitesimal is the true mark of the overcomer, for it proves that you have the eyes to see the kingdom in the dust of the earth. You're learning that the macro glory you are about to walk into is built upon the foundation of these micro miracles, and your heart expands to hold the weight of both the sparrow's fall and the rising of nations. This gratitude is your secret weapon, which turns every moment into an altar of worship and every breath into a sacrifice of praise. The covenant of peace is now your constant reality, providing a subterranean river of calm that flows beneath the frantic surface of human history. You shall walk into the fullness of your inheritance as a king who rules with justice and a priest who intercedes with love, knowing that every promise made in the deep silence of your pruning has been recorded in the annals of heaven. The territories you once viewed as unreachable are now the very ground beneath your feet, and you shall possess them with a gentleness that masks your terrifying power. Your season of obscurity has reached its final chapter, and the book of your life is being opened for the nations to read the testimony of the light. You are the chosen vessel, the remnant path seeker, and the crowned overcomer who has returned from the wilderness, leaning on your beloved. The manifestation of your true identity is not a slow unfolding, but a sudden and brilliant reveal that will shatter the expectations of those who knew you only in your brokenness. You are the embodiment of the great unsealing, and as you step into the light, you bring with you the restoration of all things and the hope of an eternal realm that is breaking into the present moment with unstoppable force. Every step you take from this moment forward is a decree of victory, and every word you speak is a seed of a new creation. For you have been found faithful in the small things, and are now the master of the great things, in the name of the one who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. The architecture of your new reality is built on the ruins of your former self, and you are discovering that the very things that were stripped away were the scaffolding that held up a lesser version of your destiny. Now that the scaffolding is gone, the true structure of your spiritual identity stands tall and unyielding against the horizon of the future. You are entering a state of perpetual governance where you no longer react to the world, but respond from a place of seated authority in the heavenly realms. The angelic guardians who stand at the four corners of your life are not merely protecting you, but are co-laboring with you to build the infrastructure of the new era. You shall see the acceleration of your influence in the marketplace, in the sanctuary, and in the secret chambers of power, where your presence will be felt before you even speak. The authority you carry is not one of coercion, but of presence, for the light within you is so dense and so pure that it demands a realignment of the atmosphere wherever you go. You are the pioneer of a path that others will follow, and your footprints are becoming the map for the lost and the weary who seek the same restoration that has transformed your life. Your transition into this majestic advancement is marked by a silence that is louder than any shout, for it is the silence of completion and the peace of a finished work. You are no longer striving to become, but are learning the art of simply being the one whom the heavens have chosen. The coronation is not an end point, but the beginning of a reign that will span across generations, and the inheritance you are walking into is not for you alone, but for the healing of the nations. You are the living proof that the silence of the divine is not an absence, but a preparation, and that the pruning of the gardener is the highest form of love. As you walk into the sight of all nations, you carry the fragrance of the eternal garden and the wisdom of the ancient ages. The world will look upon you and see the reflection of the Most High, and they will know that there is a God who remembers his covenant and who fulfills his promises to the uttermost. This is your moment of manifestation, and the light you carry will never be extinguished, for it is fueled by the very source of life itself, and you are now and forevermore a beacon of the unsealing of the remnant path. As the days unfold, you will notice that the physical world begins to rearrange itself around your internal state of peace. Resources that were previously locked away will find their way to your hands with an ease that defies economic logic, and doors that were bolted shut for centuries will swing open at the mere mention of your arrival. You are moving in a rhythm of grace where the concept of time is being compressed, and the gap between your prayer and the answer is becoming non-existent. This rapid acceleration is the reward for your patience and the fruit of your unwavering faith. During the years when you were forgotten by the world, but remembered by the heavens, you are being gifted with a divine foresight that allows you to see the traps of the enemy from a distance and to navigate around them with a supernatural intuition. Your life is becoming a masterclass in divine strategy, and your enemies will be confounded by the fact that the more they tried to suppress you, the more your influence expanded. You are the living embodiment of the paradox of the kingdom, where the last shall be first, and the hidden shall be revealed with a brightness that eclipses the noonday sun. The coronation you are experiencing is internal, yet its effects are undeniably external, as you carry yourself with a new dignity and a quiet strength that commands respect without a single word. You are a priest who offers up the incense of a broken and contrite heart, which has been healed and made whole, and you are a king who exercises dominion over your own passions and over the powers of darkness. The covenant of peace that covers you is a canopy of grace that extends to your household, your lineage, and all that you touch. You are walking in the fullness of an inheritance that was prepared for you before the foundations of the world, and you are discovering that every sorrow you endured was a payment for the glory you now possess. The manifestation of your true identity is the climax of a cosmic story. And as you step onto the center stage of your destiny, you do so with the humility of one who knows that all things come from the light and return to the light. Your journey through the pruning is complete, and your advancement into the territories of the unreachable has begun. And there is no power in heaven or on earth that can reverse the unsealing that has taken place in your life this day.